The movie starts off with a group of teenagers having a party at the beach, marking the start of their spring break. One of the girls, named Heather, records their celebratory moments while two boys, Vance and Gilbert, who have just discovered a large ball covered in a strange gooey substance in a distance, bring it over to show their friends. The curious and excited teenagers play with the ball, unaware that it will be the cause of their doom. Another teenager, Mitch, encourages everyone to put their cell phones in a plastic bag so that he can put them in the trunk of a car. He wants to make sure that no one will post compromising photos or videos online. Everybody agrees to do so, and they take out their phones from their pockets and dump them in the bag. As the party continues, Heather's camera shifts to focus on Vance, who is busy drawing dirty sketches on Gilbert's cheek while he is passed out. The following morning, Mitch and his best friend Kaylee find themselves in the lifeguard shack, while Jonah, Kaylee's boyfriend, wakes up in a nearby car alongside his classmate Shanda. In the back seat, Vance and his girlfriend Ronnie are also awakening. Gilbert, on the other hand, wakes up with his lower half stuck in a trash barrel, the result of a prank after he passed out. Another teenager, Marcia, who had fallen asleep on a picnic table, wakes up to find herself topless. However, the rest of the teenagers, including Heather, who was video recording the party the other day, are missing, leaving behind only a collection of empty sleeping bags. k4ll sees Marcia topless on the table and jokes about it. The latter accuses Heather for putting her in this predicament, but just then, she starts feeling uncomfortable and throws up in the sand. In the meantime, Kaylee witnesses a bird being strangely engulfed by the sand. As a result, she quickly warns Marcia not to get out of the table. However, Marcia, feeling unwell, has already set foot in the ground below. Moments later, her foot gets stuck in the sand, as if something is pulling her from the ground below. Visibly distressed and disoriented, she uses her hand to get the foot out. This turns out to be a huge mistake as she loses her balance and eventually gets engulfed by the mysterious sand. In an attempt to assist her, Vance gets out of the vehicle and runs towards her. But as soon as he touches the sand, his feet get stuck, causing him to fall on one side. Mitch throws a boy to help him, but sadly, it is too late. Jonah also attempts to get out of the car to save Vance, but Shanda warns him of the consequence and stops him from getting out. Soon after, the sand gorily consumes Vance's face and body as he meets the same fate as Marcia. The rest of the friends are horrified to see Vance and Marcia being ensnared by a mysterious creature. Having witnessed the most disturbing thing yet, they begin to theorize about their current situations. Jonah, observing the mysterious ball from the previous night, which is now cracked, theorizes that it was actually an egg. Whatever has been hatched from it has burrowed beneath the sand, causing widespread devastation. The group finds themselves in a tough spot because their phones are locked in the car trunk. When Jonah tries to start the car, they learn that its battery is dead from leaving the headlights on all night. In an attempt to understand what's going on, Kaylee places her palm near the sand. Just then, thin fibers-looking substances emerge from the sand, trying to reach her palm. At the same time, Gilbert, who is stuck in a trash barrel, wakes up and starts to fret. He is unable to move half of his body, causing him to panic. His friends warn him about the sand, but Gilbert believes they are once again joking around with him. After much convincing, he stays still for a while. In the meantime, Kaylee rummages through the lifeguard shack, trying to find anything that could be helpful to them. She then asks Mitch what happened the other night. He assures her that they only had a few drinks, believing that she was asking about them. But Kaylee was actually asking about the deadly creature and the disappearance of the rest of their friends. After going through the cabin, Kaylee finds a sunscreen and throws it over to her boyfriend Jonah. The group then relieves themselves of the scorching heat using the cream. Suddenly, Kaylee has something in mind. She attempts to find where the creature lurking in the sand extends using the hot dogs she found in the cabin. She then tosses them around the beach to identify the creature's boundaries. Sadly, their hope to get out of the beach dwindles when they realize the creature is occupying a significant area of the beach. Shanda then suggests they wait for help because it can be too dangerous to try and escape. But Ronnie reminds them that no one is coming to save them since it is spring break. Just then, Jonah comes up with a clever plan, using surfboards as a bridge to reach the picnic table. While doing so, he tells Kaylee that he wants to talk with her. However, she is upset about him spending the night with Shanda. In the same way, Jonah believes Kaylee spent the night well with Mitch in the lifeguard shack, hinting that they might have slept together. While attempting to reach the table, Jonah nearly slips off the surfboards, giving the creature enough time to raise its small tentacles. The tentacles then begin to cut Jonah's abdomen, injuring him in the process. Despite the pain, he quickly leaps on the table, saving himself at least for now. He then experiments with the small tentacles. He grabs a banana and places it on the ashes of the bonfire from the previous night. Surprisingly, the banana doesn't get engulfed in the sand when placed on the ashes. This means the creature avoids the remains of the bonfire, indicating a fear of fire. He then shares this vital piece of information with his friends. Suddenly, Jonah starts feeling uncomfortable and vomits blood. He feels as though the creature is trying to pierce through his bruised stomach. Although disoriented, he manages to throw some soda cans to his friends before passing out on the table. Meanwhile, the creature seems to be smart enough to move away the surfboards and flatten the car tires. Ronnie and Shanda refuse to sit by, so they try to get the phones from the car trunk under the scorching sun. Sadly, Ronnie ends up crushing her finger in the process. Thankfully, a beach patrolman arrives, catching the group's attention. He then tells the group that the beach is closed and that they shouldn't be there. Kaylee and her friends try to warn him about the creature under the sand and strictly advise him not to get out of his vehicle. In the meantime, we see that Gilbert is starting to bleed from being stuck in the barrel for far too long. The patrolman believes the teenagers are high, so he ignores their call. Surprisingly, he walks on the sand unharmed, thanks to his boots. Mitch then realizes the significance of the footwear and tells the patrolman that he is unharmed because of his strong boots. Unfortunately, the patrolman continues to misinterpret the situation, assuming the group is on drugs. He attempts to help Gilbert, but the big guy seems to be too heavy to be lifted from the barrel. Ronnie and Shanda cry for his help as well, but he ignores and taunts them in response. The patrolman then asks Mitch and Kaylee to come down from the shack, but they refuse to oblige to his orders, consistently warning him of the deadly creature. They continue to tell him that the creature has killed several of their friends. Now, irritated, the patrolman reaches for his pepper spray but accidentally drops his car keys in the sand. As he reaches down to retrieve them, his hand gets stuck in the sand. Soon after, the creature's small tentacles start to feed on his hand. He quickly grabs the pepper spray from another hand and uses it to temporarily subdue the creature. But despite this, the lower part of his arm is completely consumed, causing him to scream in shock and pain. He is then ultimately pulled into the sand. The only good thing is that Kaylee manages to secure the pepper spray. Inspired by the pepper spray's temporary deterrent effect, Mitch hatches a plan. He believes he can reach the patrolman's truck by donning flip-flops and wrapping his feet with towels soaked in pepper spray. Shanda tosses him a towel from the car, but as Mitch tries to catch it, the railing of the shack breaks, causing him to fall into the sand. Unfortunately, he also meets a gruesome fate at the hands of the creature. The rest of the group are heartbroken to see another friend lose his life right in front of them. Kaylee, though briefly saddened, then takes charge of the situation. She starts by instructing Shanda to grab the broken railing. She tosses another one, before throwing over some towels in the car. Once all the equipment is in place, she jumps off the lifeguard shack and successfully lands on the car. Regaining her posture, she first punches Shanda for flirting with Jonah, and then tells her barely conscious boyfriend to hang in there. Following this, the two girls help free Ronnie's trapped fingers from the car trunk. Kaylee then instructs Shanda to use broken pieces of the railings as a bridge to reach Jonah on the picnic table. Shanda successfully crosses the makeshift bridge and encourages the others to do so as soon as possible. In the meantime, Gilbert realizes he has unintentionally cut his stomach while trying to escape from the trash barrel. As a result, he has alerted the creature to his presence. Kaylee and Ronnie carefully navigate the makeshift bridge to reach Shanda and Jonah. Unfortunately, tragedy strikes when Ronnie stumbles at the last step when she becomes distracted by the dripping blood from her finger. Despite Kaylee's efforts with the pepper spray to subdue the creature, Ronnie sadly gets pulled into the sand. In desperation, Shanda follows through with Mitch's plan, running to the patrolman's truck with pepper-sprayed towels wrapped around her feet. The group experiences a fleeting moment of celebration when she succeeds in doing so. However, Gilbert falls victim to the creature, being pulled through the bottom of the barrel as the creature's tentacles grow larger and more menacing. The group realizes that the creature has now grown extremely big, because it has eaten many people. Just then, it starts attacking the truck, causing Shanda to lose her balance and be knocked unconscious on the truck. As night falls, Shanda regains consciousness, finding a self-inflatable raft at the back of the truck. She inflates it and throws it on the ground for Kaylee and Jonah to cross the sand. She helps the pair by first walking through the bonfire ashes, and then using the inflated raft to successfully reach the patrolman's truck. Once Shanda and Jonah are inside the truck, the ground suddenly starts to shake. It then knocks Kaylee back onto the raft. Just then, a massive glowing tentacle emerges, attacking her. Managing to climb on top of the car, Kaylee discovers 2 gas cans on the rear rack. She grabs the first one and attempts to pour the gas over the creature, but fails miserably. Regardless, she is not willing to give up easily, so she grabs another can and successfully pours the gas over the creature. She then retrieves a match from her pocket and sets one of the large tentacles ablaze. Following this, K4ll, Shanda, and Jonah secure themselves inside the truck, with the creature's tentacles bashing at them. Eventually, the attacks cease, and in the silence, K4ll and Shanda sadly realize Jonah has succumbed to his injuries. The two girls mourn the loss of their friends and find solace in each other as they fall asleep. In the morning, they are awakened by a man tapping on the car window, expressing concern for their well-being. The girls unbelievably note the absence of the creature. Traumatized, they walk across the sand as the man calls for an ambulance. The final scene of the movie shows the creature, revealed as a gigantic jellyfish, lurking underwater and heading towards another beach crowded with people.